This vehicle was getting filled with some gas, and oddly enough, the gas filler didn't quite fit, and so it took a minute to sink in and realize that they were pumping diesel into this vehicle. And so I'm just making a very quick video that's maybe going to help you. Right in here is there's something like this on your vehicle, but this right here is a connector from the fuel pump, and the fuel pump, you have to push this in. So we had to reach in there and we had to push this in place, and when we pushed that, it released it and it came off. So you're going to have to, sometimes it takes a special tool, and that actually goes down into right here. That's where it connects on, but that comes from the fuel filter and then feeds to the fuel rail. But what we had to do now is to use that pump. So we got some jugs here that we can fill it with. And what I did is I cycled the engine a couple of times. And as I cycled it, I figured out which of these, you hold your finger on these are solenoids, until you feel which one clicks. And then we pulled this one out, and then the pump would quit working. And so we know we had the right one. And I just dropped something. Okay, I am back, and I got myself this, just a piece of wire. And what I am going to do is, you have to look at your solenoid and find out which one. But now when I touch this, let's see if I can get here. So there's, I figure out which one, and now what happens is I can't just short it out. When I do, you can hear it, and you can see in the corner of that jug, I get a little bit of fluid. But the thing is, I can only run it for about 3 seconds, and then I have to cycle it, because this vehicle has a protection that doesn't just keep squirting fuel. Okay, so I short it for 3 seconds and then off. So it's a little bit painstaking, but we're going to pump all of this diesel mixed with gas out of here, and then we're going to put in fresh gas, and then I will let you know whether we succeeded. But typically a gas vehicle that gets diesel is not going to do any damage. It just won't run. Sometimes it will run, and one thing that I would tell you is, if you ever find out that you put diesel in, let it run as long as it runs. Sometimes if the engine's hot enough, you can just let it run until it runs out of fuel. But in this case, it wouldn't run. It would cough and sputter and then die. And so we're pumping out all of this diesel mixed with gas, and then we'll let you see whether we succeeded. But hopefully this gives you enough to work with. Okay, we got our cycled through. We put some fresh gas in the tank, and we cycled that through, and it was very dirty. But then once the gas ran clean, we hooked it up again, and now we are going to try to start it. We've cycled it 2-3 times, and we're going to try starting it. I think it's just the last diesel. All right, we're going to keep it running with the foot feed, but as you can tell, there's a little bit left in the lines, but it seems that we have gas coming in, and we're going to be able to keep it running now until we've worked the last of the diesel out. So hopefully that saves you a lot of trouble. This is what it will look like coming out the back end. That shouldn't be that way, but on the other hand, it's a whole lot better than having to take it in and try to get someone else. It's burning out the diesel. So I think we have a solution now, but that's what happens when you add diesel to your tank.